So this is from 2016. Yeah, it's tragic that millions of people are suffering. How Obamacare is destroying health care access. It's destroyed it for a long time, though, and that's part of the problem. I just put up a video about the whole John Hopkins thing, and 0 views. Yet it's just amazing to me the censorship that's going on for speaking the truth. But honestly, this is why I don't want to be a nurse anymore. I just don't. Like, you can try to jump through some hoops, and but the whole transgenderism on children, the healthcare system not doing the right thing and going along with political ideology, the equity, diversity, inclusion crap is just government-run healthcare. It's government in bed with the hospitals. And it's the reason so many hospitals have closed. So there was a special on this tonight on Epoch Times. Yeah, 600 plus hospitals on the verge of collapse, COVID mandates, federal arm twists, and brain drains. So this was just a brief interview with the guy that did this special on all of the things that have caused, especially in the rural areas, for hospitals to close, which in my opinion, Obamacare was designed to help do all of this. Again, to collapse the healthcare system, demand the government come in even more and fix it, which anytime you ask the government, if you let the government come in and fix shit, they will mess it up. They always do. Look at the Department of Family Services system. It is a system that forever gets worse, and it's because you don't want your government coming in and fixing everything. They don't know how to fix anything. They're supposed to be just there to keep our freedoms in place, and apparently they can't even do that because they're too busy either working for Israel or Palestine or Ukraine. It's just all of them there on the Hill. It's a waste of time. So my other video was about Maya Kowalowski, who won a suit against John Hopkins. That's likely why it's being suppressed. Because, frankly, the government's controlling big tech. The government's controlling the healthcare system. So that's the problem we have right now. And the government we currently have is all tied to the globalism, or they're tied to Israel or Ukraine or who knows. But it's a waste of time there. It's a waste of time to put hope there. Okay, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, doesn't think there's enough evidence to impeach Biden. That should tell you everything you need to know about him. So John Hopkins, I'm not trying to single them out because they're not the only ones. It's most hospitals. You don't hear about it for one reason, because the government, we have state-run media. Whether people want to believe that or not, it's up to you, because I know you've been told forever that we have the free country, right? No, we don't. They control the media. They do. So you don't hear about what you have to look specifically at these hospitals, especially your universities, and you'll find out all the problems. But you have to look them up. Really, like, dig, too. You're not just like a big Google, and don't use Google. Use a different search engine. Yeah, so John Hopkins, doctor and Army doctor spouse, charged with conspiracy to give U.S. soldiers medical info to Russia. Yes, Anna Gabrielan and Jamie Lee Henry are charged with offering sensitive information to undercover FBI agents who was posing as a representative of the Russian embassy. This was in 2022. And this is the Major Jamie Henry. So the indictment says the FBI learned that Gabrielan had volunteered assistance to Russia through its embassy. I can give you a little bit more on this one, too, because they were both arrested. I think he's an anesthesiologist. Yeah, on August 17th, Gabrielan and Henry met with an undercover agent, the indictment says. According to the indictment, Henry described a commitment to assisting Russia and had looked into volunteering to join the Russian army after the conflict in Ukraine began. But Russia wants people with combat experience, and Henry did not have any. It went on to say that Henry, obviously, he's transgender, but ultimately what they did was they gave the agent medical information about the spouse of a person employed by the Office of Naval Intelligence and highlighted a medical issue that Russia could exploit. Henry allegedly provided information on at least 5 individuals who were patients at Fort Bragg, including a retired Army officer, a current Department of Defense employee, the spouse of a U.S. Army veteran, and 2 spouses of deceased U.S. Army veterans. They were arrested. Yeah, he was an Army doctor and a Johns Hopkins anesthesiologist. But there's a pattern of a problem here, and it's not an equity, inclusion, and all of that and diversity is not going to fix what the pattern of the problem is. You have to get to the root of the problem. This is why I don't want to be a nurse. I don't think I will be anymore, actually. It's just too crazy that the healthcare system of all systems should be the system that is doing the right thing. And getting in bed with I get it. I mean, it's this game because the government gives them money for center of Medicare, but the problem is, as long as the healthcare systems are going to continue to do that, with them and not maybe come up with their own ideas and get away from government controlling all this, and I don't know what those answers are, but then you're going to have healthcare workers that are going to believe this is what we're supposed to do. And think of all the children that are going to be hurt because we have so many healthcare workers that think that transgenderism should be, I mean, we're keeping information from patients' parents, for God's sake. So I don't know how as a nurse you fit into all that. I just don't. And this was 2018. Hospital leaders resign in wake of scandal. Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital came under fire for heart surgery problems that led to a rise in patient death. So since the hospitals got in bed with the government, that's why they've been losing staff. That's one of the problems. They're losing staff left and right because they're putting staff in horrible situations to where you're going to be thrown under the bus. And if you know what you're doing you shouldn't be doing, then that's why people leave, because it's like you're in a catch-20. There's no way around it until the actual system itself, and because it's not just Johns Hopkins, it's all of them. Until there's enough people that want to step up and do the right thing and stop just believing your peer-reviewed is all being government-controlled. That's why every peer review you read right now is about equity, diversity, inclusion. And that's why it infuriates me that we have a nursing profession going along with that, because it's like you're going along with what the government's saying. This is why the government shouldn't be involved. And Obamacare made that worse because it allowed the government to come in and be more involved. So that's why universal health care would destroy everything. We're already at socialized health care. So I don't know what the answer here is. I mean, a lot of people have sacrificed their careers because they saw the writing on the wall. Most of them just don't say anything. They just leave the profession. And yeah, well, that's where I'm at now too.